Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. Today, we'll recap the baseball from yesterday, look ahead to tonight's games, WNBA, soccer, what's on my mind, NHL edition, news and notes, and best bet. MLB's up first. We'll go over yesterday's results and look ahead to tonight's slate. So some of the bets I gave out yesterday were spot on and proud of it. For my return to the podcast. Phillies over the Reds 4-1. Tigers over the White Sox 2-1. Ooh, that was close. Yankees over the Twins 6-2. Brewers over the Pirates 7-1. So best bet 1-0 on the return of the podcast. Royals over the Nats 7-4. That one I was wrong. Cards over the Rockies 3-2. I was way wrong on that one. I love that over. Rangers over the Diamondbacks 7-6-10 in the World Series matchup. A walk-off single by Jake Berger. Pinch hitter. Astros over the Red Sox 7-6. Angels over the Dodgers 7-4. Padres over the Giants 4-1. Rays over the A's 7-4. So my under 10 give was not good. All right, 6:30 Mariners O's. On the mound tonight you have George Kirby and Dean Kremer. Your odds for this. Orioles are a plus 134 underdog. Before the season, you would have thought they would have been favored in that game. Seattle minus 138, over under 9, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Seattle minus 1.5 plus 104, O's plus 1.5 minus 125. So the Mariners are playing good. They can win that division. They're second right now. Astros are ahead of them. I'm going to go with the Mariners on the run line, minus 1.5 plus 104. I'm going to get cute with that one. I just don't like what I've seen from the O's. Mariners, Guardians, or Marlins, Guardians. Mariners I just talked about. Jansen Junk and Logan Allen. Cleveland minus 136, Miami plus 116, over under 8.5, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 184, Guardians minus 1.5 plus 152. Under 8.5, minus 102. Phillies, Reds. Ranger Suarez and Brady Singer. Phil's minus 154, Reds plus 130, over under 9.5, overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Phil's minus 1.5 plus 104, Reds plus 1.5 minus 125. I like the Phillies minus 1.5 at plus 104. 7 o'clock, Twins, Yankees. Travis Adams and Carlos Rodon. Yanks minus 20, Twins plus 184, over under 9, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Twins plus 1.5 is minus 10, and same for the Yankees minus 1.5. I'm going to give out the same pick I gave out yesterday. Yankees minus 1.5 plus 110, or minus 110. TBS, Cubs, Blue Jays. That's a good one for TBS. Javier Assad and Jose Berrios. Assad making his season debut. Jays minus 130, Cubs plus 110, over under 9, overs minus 108, unders minus 112. Cubs plus 1.5 is minus 182. Jays minus 1.5 plus 150. I like the under. Don't feel super about it. That won't be best bet. Braves, Mets. Big spot from the Mets here. Spencer Strider against Clay Holmes. Mets minus 138. Braves plus 118. Over under 8. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Braves plus 1.5 minus 176. Mets minus 1.5 plus 146. Spencer Strider is better than the numbers say. Clay Holmes has been good as a starter for the Mets this year. I like under 8 minus 105. 7:30 Tigers, White Sox. Jack Flaherty and Yoendris Gomez. Tigers minus 178, White Sox plus 150, over under 8.5, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Tigers minus 1.5 and White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 110 each way. Over. That's way too low of a total. Pirates, Brewers. Paul Skeens and Freddie Peralta. Paul Skeens been good. Brewers minus 132, Pirates plus 112, over under 6.5, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Pirates plus 1.5 is minus 205. Brewers minus 1.5 plus 168. These numbers are all Skeens based. Best pitcher in the game. I'm going under 6.5 at minus 102. Nats, Royals. Mitchell Parker and Michael Wacha. Royals minus 190. Nats plus 160, over under 9. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. Nats plus 1.5 is minus 108. Royals minus 1.5 plus 106. I'm going to go with the under, but I don't feel good about it. I just think this is a good spot for Michael Wacha. Rockies, Cardinals. Kyle Freeland and Matthew Liberatore. Cards minus 190, Rockies plus 160, over under 8.5, overs minus 112, unders minus 108, Rocks plus 1.5, minus 128, Cards minus 1.5, plus 106, over. 8 o'clock, Diamondbacks Rangers. Anthony DeSclafani and Jack Leiter. Rangers minus 152, D-backs plus 128, over under 8.5, overs minus 122, unders even money. D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 160, Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 132. That is an interesting one. So, this is a fun one. I don't think I've ever done this on the podcast. First inning, over under half runs. Let's go over with minus 118. That's a funny one. Red Sox, Astros. Dustin May and Spencer Arguetti. Pick 'em, minus 108 each way, over under 8.5, overs minus 132, unders even money. Sox minus 1.5, plus 146, Astros plus 1.5 is minus 76. I'm going to go with the Red Sox on the money line. I just don't think Spencer Arguetti's good. 9:30, Dodgers, Angels. Emmett Sheehan and Victor Medeiros. Dodgers minus 184, Angels plus 154, over under 9.5, overs minus 124, unders plus 102. Dodgers minus 1.5, minus 125, Angels plus 1.5 is plus 104. Sheehan's been pretty good. I'm going under 9.5, plus 102. I think that's a high number. And I don't think the Angels will put up that many runs again. 9:45, Padres, Giants. Nestor Cortez, who's been awful with the Padres, and Robbie Ray, who's been good for the Giants. And they're minus 118 favorites. Padres 3 for money, over under 7.5, overs minus 112, unders minus 108. Padres minus 1.5 is plus 172. Giants plus 1.5 is minus 10. I like the Giants on the money line, minus 118 to get back to 500. Rays Athletics, Shane Baz and Jacob Lopez. The Athletics are minus 112 favorites. The Rays are minus 104, over under 9.5, overs minus 122, unders even money. Rays minus 1.5, plus 146. A's plus 1.5 is minus 178. I'm going with Sacramento, whatever they are, at minus 112. Okay, now I'll move on to the WNBA. We did have some action last night, and we have action again tonight. So, the Valkyries beat the Suns 74-57. The Valkyries are 16-15. They're over 500, and the Sun are a dreadful 5-26. 2 games tonight, 7:30 on ESPN. Wings Fever. That's a good one. That's Becker's against Caitlin Clark. So you knew that's going to be on TV. The Fever are 9-point favorites. Totals 170.5. So it looks like Paige is playing. They're not as good as the Fever, obviously. But I think there's a chance that this is a close game. 170.5 is a high total, so I'm going to give out the under. And then Liberty Sparks on NBA TV at 10 o'clock. The Liberty are 4.5-point favorites, totals 175. I kind of think the Sparks might win outright against Liberty. Trap spot, West Coast. I'm going to take LA, getting the 4.5, and I'm going to give out plus 152 for them to win outright to get back to 500 on the season. Okay, now move on to soccer. We have a couple Liga MX games to go over. So we'll touch on that. Monterrey over Leon 3-1. Toluca over Juarez 2-0. Cruz Azul over Athletic San Luis 2-1. We'll see the league again Friday night. So we also have club friendlies to talk about. Bayern over Grasshoppers 2-1. Real Madrid over Swarovski Tirol 4-0. And Inter Milan Monza 2-2 draw. Inter Milan wins 5-3 on penalties. UCL qualifying third round. FK Karabag over KF Shagdija 5-1. Karabag wins 6-1 on aggregate. Copenhagen over Malvo 5-0. They advance 5-0 on aggregate. Paphos over Dynamo Kyiv 2-0. Paphos advances 3-0 on aggregate. Fenerbahce over Feyenoord 5-2. Fenerbahce advances 6-4 on aggregate. Rangers advance 4-2 on aggregate, but beats Karat Almaty 1-0, but they're tied on aggregate, and Kairat Almaty advanced 4-3 on penalties. Ferencvaros over Ludogorets 3-0. Ferencvaros advances 3-0 on aggregate. Red Star Lech Ponzin 1-1 draw, but Red Star advances 4-2 on aggregate. And then Benfica over Nice 2-0. Benfica advances 4-0 on aggregate. And then the Carabao Cup first round. Swansea over Crawley 3-1. Doncaster over Borough 4-0. Stockport over Crewe 3-1. Mill over Newport 1-0. Preston over Borough 1-0. Bradford over Blackburn 2-1. Port Vale over Blackpool 1-0. Bristol City over MK Dons 2-0. Cambridge over Bristol Rovers 2-0. Cardiff over Swindon 2-1. Charlton over Stevenage 3-1. Mansfield over Chesterfield 2-0. Coventry over Luton 1-0. Gillingham, Wimbledon 1-1 draw. Wimbledon advances 4-2 on penalties. Grimsby over Shrewsbury 3-1. Wrexham, Hull 3-3 draw. Wrexham advances 5-3 on penalties. Wycombe over Leyton Orient 1-0. Southampton over Northampton 1-0. Oxford United over Colchester 1-0. Plymouth over QPR 3-0. Reading over Portsmouth 2-1. Rotherham Salford City 0-0 draw. Rotherham advances 3-2 on penalties. Stoke Walsall 0-0 draw. Stoke City advances 4-3 on penalties. Accrington over Peterborough 2-1. Tranmere Burton Albion postponed. Norwich City over Watford 2-1. West Brom Derby 1-1 draw. Derby County advances 3-2 on penalties. Wigan over Notts County 1-0. Lincoln City over Harrogate 3-1. Bromley Ipswich 1-1 draw. Bromley advances 5-4 on penalties. We have a couple more tomorrow. 2:45 Bolton and Sheffield Wednesday. So I'm just going to pull up the odds really quick on good old FanDuel Sportsbook. That's why the Champions League. No, it's not. So I'm trying to find the odds. Oh, it's the Carabao Cup. That makes sense. Here we go. Bolton minus 370, Sheffield's plus 750, draw plus 490. Over 3.5 goals plus 108. Cheltenham, Exeter. Exeter plus 138. Cheltenham 2-1 draws plus 240. This screams draw plus 240. Huddersfield, Leicester. Leicester minus 110. Huddersfield plus 270. Draw plus 260. Leicester minus 110. They're better. Barnsley in Fleetwood Town. Barnsley minus 145. Fleetwood plus 350. Draw plus 290. We're going under 2.5 goals at plus 118. Last but not least, Birmingham, Sheffield United at 3 o'clock. Birmingham plus 115. Sheffield plus 230. Draw plus 240. I'm going to go with Birmingham. They're better at plus 115. We also have a big one in soccer tomorrow. PSG and Tottenham. The UEFA Super Cup. It's at 3 o'clock. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to give out a pick just in case we don't get to it by tomorrow afternoon. PSG minus 280, Tottenham 6-1. The draw is 4-1. Over 3.5 goals plus 116. Okay, now I'm going to do what's on my mind, NHL. Okay, so the team I really want to talk about is the two-time Stanley Cup runners-up, the Edmonton Oilers, who've come oh so close the last 2 years. They could have been back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. They lost a couple games in overtime in both finals, if I'm not mistaken. Here they are. Their star player is not extended yet beyond next season. So Connor McDavid is not extended yet, and at gunpoint, I think that he'll be re-signed by the Oilers at some point before the season. But at the same time, the longer this goes, the more likely he leaves. We have not seen a superstar leave its team in free agency in a while, let alone any sport. We saw Aaron Judge came very close to leaving the Yankees to go into the Giants a couple years ago. I think that was the closest we got. Let's not count Kevin Durant. He got traded, and plus he's not a super duper star anymore. He's past his prime. Same with LeBron. I mean, LeBron going to the Lakers was probably the last big one. But even that didn't feel as big as him going to Miami or him going back to Cleveland. And I get it. He did win a title with the Lakers in COVID. So I guess the last big one was when LeBron James signed with the Lakers in 2018. The last big superstar to leave his team in free agency. But would it be shocking if he left the Oilers? I'd say at this point, yes. Should the Edmonton Oilers look to trade Connor McDavid? Not right now. If they're bad this year, and they say if they have the year from hell, injuries galore, but he's healthy, then see what you can get. Maybe the Rangers will come and show it up with the Godfather offer for him. That's the first team that stuck out to me. The Maple Leafs doesn't make sense because they have Austin Matthews. The Rangers have a declining Mika Zibanejad, who they're talking about moving the wing. And then they would have a hole at 1C. I think that's the team that I think is poised to make a potentially run at Connor McDavid. Or if Sidney Crosby retires, could it be the Pittsburgh Penguins? Ovechkin's last year's this year. Maybe the Capitals make a run at him. But I think there's going to be a lot of teams in both conferences. I mean, you can't rule out the Maple Leafs with anything, really, but that's when it makes sense in theory, unless they move Austin Matthews to wing. The Blackhawks, him and Bedard together, I don't know. Listen, if the Blackhawks didn't win the Bedard lottery, then I think we'd be talking about them as the front runners if he were to leave the Oilers. I think the front runner is the Rangers, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Rangers fan. I'm saying that because they have an aging center in Mika Zibanejad. Vincent Trocheck's not a 1C. To me, he's a 2C. And I think they're just setting up for it. Like, James Dolan has a history of this with both the Rangers and the Knicks. So it's basing on past history. I think, like I said, if Crosby retires, Pittsburgh's in play. Even if he doesn't retire, you move him to 2C, and then you make Malkin a wing, which he kind of is already a wing at this point. The Islanders make sense for Connor McDavid as well. You can't rule out the Islanders. I think that would be a huge deal. And it would kind of be funny because they're the last big, giant, league-shaking free agent signing was probably John Tavares going from the Islanders to the Maple Leafs. Although the Islanders did have Ewing theory for a couple years without John Tavares going to back-to-back conference finals. So, you can make a case there was a Ewing theory there at the Islanders with him. Like I said, Ovi's retiring at the end of the year, so I think the Capitals have to be mentioned. I mean, I know Toronto's made changes. Mitch Marner's in Vegas. And I think that's a big league shaker. But, like, that's not Austin Matthews moving teams. I mean, Prime John Tavares going to Toronto. That's what that is. Like, that. I mean, McDavid moving would be bigger than that, but it's not as big as Mitch Marner, who's a star player, but not super-duper star like Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby in his prime, Ovechkin in his prime, Austin Matthews. Like, he's not a super-duper star, Mitch Marner. But yeah, Connor McDavid's free agency is such a big deal. And I think it's going to be the story of next summer if he's not signed. I think the Red Wings have to be mentioned for Connor McDavid. That's a team that's desperate. Of course, the Buffalo Sabres have to be mentioned because they haven't been in the playoffs in so long, and they have the longest drought in the NHL. Longest drought in the NHL is the Sabres. I think the last time they made the playoffs was in 2011, and they got either swept or they maybe won one game in the first round, and I forgot who they played. It might have been the Bruins. I just have to double check my memory. I think if Vegas didn't add Mitch Marner, then I think they would have been in play for McDavid. I don't think Vancouver's going to be in play. That would be weird. I mean, that would be really crazy if you went to Calgary. I mean, that would be a little crazy. The Kings would be kind of poetic, of course, for obvious reasons, and the fact that they've played each other in the playoffs a ton recently. But yeah, and then obviously that's where Wayne Gretzky ended up after Edmonton. So the Kings would be very, very ironic, and I think that would be a huge deal. I think they have to be right there at the Rangers now they think about it. Like, they need, like, a marquee guy. I mean, to be fair, the Rangers do have a marquee guy, but it's the goaltender, Igor Shesterkin. But I mean marquee guy in terms of superstar. I mean, Artemi Panarin's a star, but he's not a superstar. Andrei Kopitar was a superstar, but now he's just a star. It's kind of like he's kind of in that same phase as like Crosby and Ovechkin right now. So McDavid's free agency possibility is a huge deal. Quick thing, like teams that got better or worse in the offseason. I think the New Jersey Devils have to be better. Jack Hughes healthy a full season. They have to be among the favorites in that division. Carolina is just kind of there. I think Washington's taken a step back. The Rangers should be better with the better coach. Pittsburgh's going to be bad. Buffalo's Buffalo. I don't know when they're going to make the playoffs again. Boston could be a bounce-back team. We're just talking about the Rangers. I think Boston can be a bounce-back team. Toronto obviously lost Marner. Red Wings, who knows? Florida's going to be right there. I think they're the team to beat because they're the two-time champions. In the West, Edmonton probably is the team to beat to go back to the final because they were there the last 2 years. But a lot of teams in that conference have made improvements. I mean, Dallas has been there the last couple of years. Winnipeg's there. They have a star goalie and a good coach. The Blues made the playoffs last year. Who knows? I mean, could the Blackhawks finally make it? But I do think that the West is going to be better, too. And like I said, I have to do more kind of research with hockey because there was a little bit of movement and whatnot. But it's going to be fun, for sure. All right, news and notes. Very quick. Bobby Portis is ignoring Giannis Antetokounmpo trade rumors. The Mets are moving Frankie Montas to the bullpen. It looks like they're going to call somebody up. Saints offensive lineman Will Clapp out for the season after suffering serious foot injury. Not great. Steph Zion may play in Pro AM as they are interested in joining Jamal Crawford's crossover league next summer. Garrett Cole began throwing program as he made 20 tosses on a flat ground. Woo! We'll see. I mean, if he comes back and the Yankees kind of turn around, maybe the Twin Series gets them going a little bit. I mean, could he be back for, like, the last couple of weeks of the regular season and the playoffs? Like, that would be crazy. But I feel like they'd be rushing it if they brought him back because I think they know they're not that good and the trade guys really haven't worked out so far. But you never know. Jordan Love's preseason likely done as he's having surgery on his thumb. Shouldn't miss any regular season games. 49ers rookie wide receiver has a high ankle sprain, Jordan Watkins. Landon Dickerson avoided a major injury, have that minor knee procedure with goal to play week 1. Brandon Ayuk could return by week 6. I mean, the 49ers have an easy schedule. I mean, he'll be missed, but we'll see. Cam Hayward could hold out as he asked for a contract negotiation in February. Bradley Beal says, I need a ring. I mean, could have went to the Knicks because he would have a better chance to win the title with the Knicks or the Cleveland Cavaliers than the Clippers or OKC. Jonathan Kuminga refused his Dubs deal as he dislikes the idea of signing up to be more easily traded midseason and mid 2-for-45 offer. The Celtics are changing leadership as Governor Wyc Grousbeck out despite initial plans to remain through 2028 amid ownership change. How about this? Travis Kelce wanted to go to the Browns as he said he was in tears during 2013 pre-draft meeting with Cleveland. Wow. Lions rookie third-round pick wide receiver Isaac Tisala working his way into a role in the Lions offense. Shader Sanders still listed as QB4 as the Browns released week 2 preseason depth chart ahead of Eagles matchup. Yikes. Padres aware of pitch tipping as San Diego's coaching staff knew about Robert Suarez's tells against the Red Sox. Shohei Ohtani and his agent, Nez Baelo, allegedly pushed 2 people out of a $240 million Hawaii real estate deal. Yikes. Oh, God. Odell Beckham Jr. fell for a fake Adam Schefter post as he responded to rumored retirement before realizing that's funny. Malik Neighbors misses practice as his toe injury forces him out of Jets joint session. Oklahoma quarterback denies gambling as school investigating John Mater's alleged betting posts on Venmo. Former Alabama quarterback Dylan Longren wins BC's starting quarterback job. And there you have it for news and notes. Best bets up. Brought to you by FanDuel. I don't love today's any as much as I loved yesterday's with the Brewers run line against the Pirates, who had just won their 10th straight game. They have to be among the teams to beat right now in the National League, which not a lot of people saw coming. So, for best bet, I'm going to go with your NL East leading Philadelphia Phillies, and I'm going to lay -1.5 on the road against the Reds of Cincinnati. So again, Phillies -1.5 plus 106 against the Cincinnati Reds. That's it for the show, and I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything tomorrow and the quarterback rankings. So that should be a lot of fun. Have a great day, everyone.